On tonight's episode of Obscured Reality, join us as we blast off into space and take a look at the Black Knight satellite conspiracy theory. Could there really be an extraterrestrial craft orbiting our planet? Or is this simply space junk? Come along with us and find out. Sit down, sit back, relax, and join us on our journey through Obscured Reality.
Welcome to another episode of Obscured Reality. Join your hosts, Mark and Stephanie, as they take you through a journey of the extraordinary, bizarre, and often frightening world of the unknown. Explore topics of the paranormal, UFOs, alien abduction, lost civilizations, mythical monsters, and other unexplained mysteries. Come along with us as we transcend into another dimension of obscured reality.
Welcome back to Obscured Reality. We are Mark and Stevie, your hosts, back at you again. How is it hanging, Stephanie?
Fucking great. Fucking great.
Oh, man. You know, sarcasm's been my best friend most of my fucking life, and people don't get it, and it pisses me off. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a weird one tonight. Oh, I'm going to save the good one for next week. But have you ever seen the movie The Black Knight? I think it's a Batman movie.
Yes.
I know y'all have. Yeah. I don't know if I've seen it. I think I did. I think they had a couple of them or something. I don't know.
They did.
It's, it takes too long to come out with some of them.
Dark
so
Knight. It was the Dark Knight, not the Black Knight. It was the Dark
shit. My bad. The Dark Knight. Well, I ruined that segue. That's fine. That is fine. Have you ever heard of the Black Knight satellite?
No.
Oh, you're there. Ha! No?
No.
Well, you're going to hear about it tonight.
Okay.
The Black Knight satellite. Now, this could be a real thing. It could not be a real thing. There could be a prosaic explanation. There may not be a prosaic explanation. But we're going to take a look at it tonight, guys. Yeah, we're going to find out.
Ouch.
Get it? Got it? Good.
Get it, got it good.
Before we start house cleaning, because our house cleaners suck, like, share, subscribe. If you have a personal obscure story of your own, think paranormal, Bigfoot. You have parents who had parents decades and decades past, belong to a lost civilization. Email us at obscuredr1@gmail.com. Type story in the subject line so we know what the fuck it is. We'll tell your story for you on here anonymously. If you want to come on and tell your own story and have a chat, we would love that. Let us know in the email. By all means, it's easy. We ain't gonna pay you, but we'll put you on. It'll be more fun, more interesting. So please do so. So, Black Knight satellite. Hey, if you work with any of these industries that may have knowledge on this Black Knight satellite and what the reality is, email us. Yes, please. Right.
With this lead up, I'm so very curious now.
It's interesting.
Let's dive into this. Yes.
It's interesting. Okay. So, the Black Knight satellite, it is, of course, a conspiracy theory.
Oh.
I mean, duh. It wouldn't be interesting if it wasn't. So this theory, I don't like the word conspiracy theory because although there's truth and meaning behind that and, a real definition to conspiracy theory, people use it negatively. So I'm not going to use it anymore tonight. I might. We'll see. So the claims of this theory are that a spacecraft of extraterrestrial origin is in near polar orbit of the Earth and that NASA is covering up its existence and origin. Real quick before I continue, polar orbit, I recommend you go look it up. I didn't pull up much on it. I've seen some videos on this with, about the Black Knight satellite and all that. And they do talk about the importance of a polar orbit versus a normal orbit. A polar orbit has to do with, one way it was described was, you have your typical orbit around the Earth or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have a polar orbit, which is different. If the way it was described was, if a country wanted to launch a spy satellite to see everything, like the whole fucking planet, they would put it in a polar orbit. Obviously, that'd be pretty identifiable at that point. But you got to look up polar orbit. And, maybe we can go into it in a minute and look it up real quick. But there's some things with that. So let's move on. So this conspiracy theory combines several unrelated stories into one narrative. But we'll get there. Quick one tonight, by the way. So a photo taken during the STS-88 mission, claimed by some to show the Black Knight satellite, is cataloged by NASA as a photo of space debris, and space journalist James Oberg considers it as probable debris of a thermal blanket confirmed as lost during the mission. Let's take a look at a picture or two here first before we proceed and see what we think.
I love pictures.
Yeah, pictures can be good. Let me blow that up for y'all a little bit. So obviously that's like an upside down view in orbit. Let's get rid of some stuff here. It's like an upside down view. Now this isn't a great, whatever the hell this is, photo, right? But
yeah,
let's go to the other photo. Thermal blanket that was lost from this ship or whatever these people were on.
I don't know enough about thermal blankets to comment about that.
I don't either. But, I mean, honestly, if you look at this, I could see that as possible. Basically a blanket. Thermal blanket is just a special design, right, to keep you extra... to make sure you stay warm in a cold environment.
Or
right?
It could be like a thermal blanket is a technical term for like an outer covering of a spacecraft. I don't know. That's how I kind of originally took it. Like, it's just like the not technical phrase of something on a rocket. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure this is for the inside. If it's not for the inside, like for a person, then it may be for one of the like hatch coverings for underneath on the inside, like kind of like you're saying, I guess. Because I have seen some things on that, but not necessarily related to this. But I can see how this. I mean, it's a shitty photograph, but I can totally see if you told me that was a blanket lost out of the space shuttle when they opened the hatch, the bay doors, and one of their blankets floated out. I totally believe it by looking at it. Like, this doesn't look ultimately too crazy to me. Now, again, obviously, I can also assign some weird theories or ideas about this to this as well and say, that's not a blanket. Look at that straight edge right there, and look at this corner and a 90-degree angle and blah, 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 and then it comes down and it goes down here and then it turns again. I'm like, I totally pull that kind of bullshit and say, look, it looks like a little booster down here. And
or it could just be like a ruffled blanket that's like folded.
Well, right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you could easily look at this and just like easily go to town on a bunch of bullshit, So to me, I'd say, this kind of looks like a blanket. But those are the only pictures. We're gonna continue now. Let's see. Let's move on here. So this was taken, like I said, during the STS-88 mission. Some history here. According to some UFO conspiracists, the Black Knight is an artificial satellite of extraterrestrial origin that has orbited Earth for approximately 13,000 years. The origin of the Black Knight legend is often retrospectively dated back to natural extraterrestrial repeating sources, supposedly heard during the 1899 radio experiments of Nikola Tesla, and long-delayed echoes, first heard by amateur radio operator Jorgen Hals in Oslo, Norway in 1928. So, this whole thing about the Black Knight satellite started prior to this probable thermal blanket. That happened to be something viewed when they were up there, or they knew that they lost it on that particular mission, right? And photograph. I know they did, because I was reading about that, and they were saying they purposely photographed it as proof. So, but then again, if you want to go conspiracy side, they photographed it because it was a goddamn extraterrestrial ship, and this is just NASA's story, whatever, But yes, they knew they lost it. They photographed it as proof, blah, 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 blah. So the Black Knight origin goes back much farther than that, though. It originates much farther back to Nikola Tesla. He was detecting some weird signals that you would not think should have been detected. And then, like I said, this amateur radio operator, Jorgen Hals, he first heard some very long delayed echoes. He was an amateur radio operator.
Is he the one that recorded that short little famous wave that I'm totally spacing on the name of right now?
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Jesus, I will look it up.
You're
Continue.
not referring to something with Amelia Earhart, are you?
No, I'm not. It's hold pause.
Oh, pause that. Guys, while she's looking this up, you have any knowledge on this? Comment down below. Let us know what you think that picture looks like. I'll go ahead and share it again here real quick while she's busy over there. Here is that photo again from space. What does that look like to you? Honestly, I really do think that kind of looks like a blanket, but we also go back to, preconceived ideas, things put in your head, They tell you it's a blanket. Well, you can easily see it's a blanket, but you wouldn't have picked that out to begin with because it's not a great photo. But ultimately, when you do study it, when you do think about it and look at it in detail, it kind of looks like it's probably a blanket. But comment down below. Let us know what you think. I'm curious to hear the different ideas. We won't judge. I promise.
That's found it. Haha. The wow signal. That's it.
I've heard of that. I don't know much on it.
Okay.
Proceed.
But no, it is not in relevance to what we're talking about. So never mind. But the wow signal is what I was trying to talk about.
Wasn't the wow signal like a constant signal they were hearing for a period of time or a short period of time from somewhere out there?
It came from the constant. It was just very quick. That's why it was like a wow, because it's a very short sequence of.
But didn't they detect it again, like years later or something?
So apparently they've been detecting radio waves from outer space for a while now, but that was
of course
a long time ago, and I think it was just the first burst that was captured, radio signal wave. Could be wrong, but okay. we'll probably do a show about that actually.
I'll need a text on that to note that down. Okay, so where were we? 1928. So the origin of the Black Knight legend is often retrospectively dated back to natural extraterrestrial repeating sources supposedly heard during the 1899 radio experiments of Nikola Tesla, and long-delayed echoes first heard by amateur radio operator Jorgen Hals in Oslo, Norway in 1928. Yeah. So in 1963, astronaut Gordon Cooper, heard that name before, supposedly reported a UFO sighting during his 15th orbit in Mercury 9 that was confirmed by tracking stations, but there's no evidence that this happened. Now, I can't exactly go by the part that says, but there's no evidence to support this, basically, because we've heard too many stories of what you'd call credible people
Mhm.
seeing things that are truly odd. And again, they're only odd until they're not. Where groups, entities such as NASA or the government or the military says, oh, nope, nothing to see here. That was a weather balloon that bubbled up from swamp gas, So he says he saw something and it was confirmed by tracking stations, but NASA says there's no evidence. But it was confirmed by tracking stations. But again, there's no evidence. But it was confirmed by tracking stations. Point being, there's evidence, okay?
Right.
Neither NASA's mission transcripts nor Gordon Cooper's personal copies show any such report being made during the orbit. Right. Of course not, because there's a fucking stigma. This is common knowledge, guys, especially now more than ever. Like it's more publicly and widely known. That's the stigma. Of course he didn't say anything because he didn't want to be disappeared or fired and no retirement, all that crap. We've heard the stories, and I'm sorry, they're not. It's true. I mean, it happens, I'm not going to get into the whole coincidence thing, but it's too many. So, in 1973, Scottish author Duncan Lunan analyzed the long-delayed radio echoes.
He has a wonderful name.
Duncan Lunan. It reminds me of Peter Pan. Oh. It just
okay.
Does.
Random. Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Was there a character Duncan in there?
I couldn't say.
I mean, it would have fit if there was.
Yeah, true. It would. I just like it. Duncan. Sorry, it's kind of like Donkey. Sorry, I'm so sorry. That's where my brain went. Anyway.
Okay. So 1973, Scottish author Duncan Lunan analyzed the long-delayed radio echoes received by Halls and others and speculated that they could possibly originate from a 13,000-year-old alien probe located in an orbit around the Earth's moon. He suggested that the probe may have originated from a planet located in the solar system of star Epsilon Bootis. Lunan later retracted his conclusions, saying that he had made outright errors and that his methods had been unscientific. Now, I saw a video on this Black Knight satellite thing, and this was mentioned as well. And he actually did a pretty good job, and he did exactly what science should be doing. Continue studying it, even if you think you found the conclusion. And when you realize there's an error, you state it. So it's clearly known. There was an error. Don't 100% go by this. So, he admitted that. So that's good on him. So what's the truth? Well, let me rephrase that. What's the possible truth? The conspiracy theory combines several unrelated stories into one narrative. The satellite story is most likely a conflation of several disconnected stories about various objects and their interpretations, all of them well documented independently, and none using the term Black Knight upon their first publication. According to Senior Education Support Officer Martina Redpath of Armagh Planetarium in Northern Ireland, Black Knight is a jumble of completely unrelated stories. Reports of unusual science observations, authors promoting fringe ideas, classified spy satellites, and people over-interpreting photos. These ingredients have been chopped up, stirred together, and stewed on the internet to one rambling and inconsistent dollop of myth.
I really
Ugh.
enjoy the phrasing that she used.
Yeah,
Made it.
she's got some words in there.
Yeah, she's got a lot of words, and some of the words reminded me a lot of food, like dollop. And it's like,
Yeah, sour
nachos.
cream, a dollop.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
fuck.
like,
Yeah, no,
nobody
there was a
uses
lot
those
of words. There was a lot of
yeah.
unnecessary words.
That
That seems to be a running trend.
Well, who did she work for? She worked for a planetarium. She's not trying to BS anyone. I was gonna say, yeah, things like that are important when the government does it because it's a good way to obfuscate and confuse, throw people off. But I don't think she's trying to do that. She's just probably really smart. The origin of the Black Knight legend is often retrospectively dated back to natural extraterrestrial repeating sources, as we said, heard during 1899 radio experience by Nikola Tesla, and long delayed echoes, again, heard by radio amateur operator Jorgen Halls in 1928. So Brian Dunning of the Skeptoid podcast, I've heard of that one. I actually subscribe to that. We've got some interesting stories here and there. He attributes Tesla's 1899 radio signals to pulsars out in space, which were not identified until 1968. Keyhoe, Donald Keyhoe, he had also been promoting a UFO book at the time. And the news stories were likely written tongue-in-cheek and not intended to be taken seriously. So that's the story of the Black Knight satellite. Man, I don't know. I highly recommend, guys, Stevie, guys, girls, gals, whatever.
He's, she's, theys.
I'm not going there. I don't understand it, so I'll say something. You'd be like, that's not a fucking pronoun. Go on YouTube, type in Black Knight Satellite, watch some videos on this. There's some good stuff out there with a little bit more explanation. You're going to hear about the polar orbits and all that. You're going to hear about some more things with Donald Keyhoe. I was just looking to go to the main points, the main facts in here that go along with the theories, the conspiracy theories, as well as the possible truth.
I'm not going to say that word anymore. Says it 4 more times.
Oh, God. What's worse, me saying it 4 more times or you counting? I'm just saying. So, I highly recommend you watch them if you're interested in this. They're interesting and you're going to get some good info in there. So I know, Stevie, what do you think? Here's the best of the 2 pictures pulled up again for you. But what do you think about this?
It could be a blanket. It could look like it looks like space junk. It looks simply that space junk.
The whole Black Knight story in general, including this photo. But what do you think? I mean, there's some other stuff. If you go out and watch some of these videos, there is a little bit more info actually on, I believe, some details about how possibly far away some of these signals were coming from, some things that were seen from the ground. That's definitely in there. So some of this kind of goes to the conspiracy theory, but that doesn't necessarily mean conspiracy theory in the manner of stigma and you're a piece of junk because you're going into a conspiracy theory here. No. It's a theory because if it's true, there's probably a conspiracy, right? So there is more data on this.
Obviously there is something as to what I do not know. Anything is possible. So that's what I've learned from doing this podcast for this long now, is that anything is possible. So
until it's not.
Correct. So not going to assume anything. I because I'm not going to
No.
put words to it because I don't want to like have it sound like I've made a final distinction. But like anything's possible, and that's how I'm going to leave it.
Yeah.
Anything is possible. Like I do see how people say that it could be space junk, but at the same
Right.
time, it's space. Like we've explored
Well-
more of the ocean than we have of space. So
It might be hard, I would think, if you're in a near Earth orbit to just, let's say you launch up there on one of Elon Musk's little things and he puts your little butt in orbit for a couple days
Mhm.
and you got some windows. I'm not positive on what the chances are of you actually seeing some space junk. My guess is probably not. However, I wouldn't exactly be surprised if you did see space junk.
I mean,
'Cause there's a
low
lot.
orbit, probably not. I think it would probably be more higher
Ooh.
orbit.
I don't know.
Hmm.
There's a lot.
Who
You
knows?
go Google space junk and see where it's at and the different radiuses out and stuff. There's a ton of shit out there, and they
And
admit it.
that
There's a
doesn't
ton.
surprise me.
Yeah, and you got to remember it's slowly making its way back towards Earth, hence shooting stars, guys. By the way, if you think a shooting star is what you were told as a kid, which was a shooting star, you're wrong. You're not wrong. They were wrong. Bad on them. Of course, that's what you tell a kid. I tell my kids, and I'm like, I hate it. Irks me when I say things like that too, because I'm like, oh, but I can't explain it to a 5-year-old yet. I can kind
Yeah.
of, but they're not going to get it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're told these things, and then later on when you grow up, it's never explained. So you live half your life. But oh, it's a shooting star, and you're thinking, oh yeah. But I remember specifically hearing shooting star, like it's a star that fucking burned out a gazillion miles away, and phew, I remember hearing that.
See, I remember
What?
hearing that a shooting star is a meteor or space junk entering the atmosphere and burning
It
up.
is.
Yeah,
It's
that's
exactly what it is.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I remember learning. But at the same time, like
I never learned that. Like you say learning, are you referring to school?
I'm pretty sure it was school.
Okay, so I never heard about it in school ever. I'm talking about, go camping with the parents
yeah.
or whatever, and you're out somewhere, you see every goddamn star, and they're like, oh look, a shooting star. And I remember at some point along the lines in there, hearing, being told, oh yeah, shooting star, it's a star that's all that bullshit, and now I know, obviously. I'm like, wow.
Yeah,
They should change the verbiage. They should change the name of it.
Yeah. Yeah, because like a star that actually is like burning up, that burned up, however many thousands of millions of light years away. Isn't that like a supernova or
Right.
a nebula, something along those lines? I think.
Yeah, it doesn't blow up or fade out and then go pew,
Just
through the
kinda-
cosmos.
No, it just goes
But that's what you're seeing.
implode.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. You're seeing shit entering our atmosphere, whether it's a meteor or space junk, satellite, whatever. That's all it is. So, yeah, Black Knight satellite. I couldn't tell you. I mean, I look at that photo. I would not, unless I was told, I wouldn't be able to pick anything out of that photo other than, yeah, especially that close up. It's probably space junk because we don't get good pictures of UFOs, especially if the UFO is an extraterrestrial craft. They're all fuzzy.
We can get
blurry,
the
and
most
crap.
beautiful, detailed pictures of galaxies hundreds of thousands of light years away, but space junk right in front of us. Make that shit 1980s quality. Like,
Ooh, get that out of there. Damn.
Ooh.
That was right in front of the camera. Sorry, guys. You gotta miss my beautiful face for a second there. Whoa. Yeah.
yeah.
I wouldn't be able to pick that out for anything. And I would highly assume that's probably space debris in low Earth orbit with these people.
A degree of space debris.
Yeah, and they admitted one of their thermal blankets escaped, so to speak, and they took photos of it purposely because of that, to show that. And that's what it's claimed to be. So you say that's a thermal blanket, and I look at that and I easily see that
thermal
is a
blanket.
blanket
Mhm.
laying on the bed at home that's kind of just ruffled up. Exactly. So pretty sure, I'm going to say that's what that is. I don't see how it wouldn't be. And if you don't think that and you think it might be something else, hey, man, I'm not judging because more and more people don't know what the hell to believe anymore. So I get it. And I've seen weird shit. You've seen weird shit. We've all seen weird
Yeah.
shit. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Any final thoughts, Stevie, on the
No?
Black Knight satellite? You should really YouTube it and look it up and watch a couple of videos on it. There's some more info. It's pretty interesting. Yeah.
I will reserve a final comment judgment until I've seen more on it. But I do see the blanket, even though it does have that hard 90-degree angle because it's a corner of a blanket, and then the soft, the soft rolls of it. It looks exactly like a flag when a flag is folded.
Yeah. Yeah, the soft rolls of it. This blanket's a muffin top. Oh, I'm sorry. That applies to anyone, not just a particular gender. So that blanket ruffles what you said. Oh. Well, guys, that's it for the Black Knight satellite. Steve wants to add something more to that crap.
Nope.
Yeah. So, again, like, share, subscribe. If you have an obscure story of your own, send it to us. obscuredr1@gmail.com. Type story in the subject line. We'll tell your story for you. We understand you may not want to tell it, so we'll tell it for you because they're interesting. Whether there's an explanation, a prosaic explanation or not, we'll tell it for you. If you want to come on the show, we can easily make that happen. And I say easily, meaning you barely have to do anything. And if you'd like to tell your own story, you can. Anonymously, audio only, completely fine. Up to you. So shoot us that email. I'm hearing a bell dinging.
Well, that bell that alerts you when we have a new episode drop every Friday, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Definitely please hit that to subscribe to notifications. It does us a huge favor. And share, comment, subscribe, tell your friends. Let's get past this 39 mark.
Oh, we'll get there. Hey, it takes time.
Yeah.
And
that's why they need to share, comment, and subscribe, and tell all their friends.
Yeah, as much as I want more subscribers. What I really want is I want people to email us their stories. I really would like to look at and tell people's stories for them. I think they're interesting. And like I said, guys, go back in our history. We have quite a few videos out of personal stories of our own. Stevie's, mine, Mike's. I've had actually quite a few. And I go through the God's honest truth about it, critical thinking, common sense, all that, and I'm not necessarily ascribing something to any of them, but I've had them myself, so I get it, But that's what I'm really looking forward to is if we start getting people emailing us their stories. That's going to be the most interesting because it's different than a lot of the stuff we've always heard about. However, some of these are really, really interesting. Speaking of really interesting, oh man, Stevie, next week's show. I'm excited. It's an interesting one.
Yeah?
But you're going to get a chuckle. I can't wait. Yeah, you're gonna get a chuckle, and I'm gonna have a hard time during the show. This next one coming up. I'm gonna have a tough time. You'll get it immediately.
You're gonna be immature as hell, aren't you?
Oh well, I'm not gonna be the only one, but yeah, that'll be two of us.
Oh Lord. Oh,
sorry, it is what it is. But yeah, so that's it. The Black Knight satellite, look it up. With that, we are going to see you folks next week. Peace.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to check back with us often for new episodes. Feel free to drop a comment, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Obscured Reality.